Section number 42 is entitled Finding the Fractional Part of a Number. For example, we want to find this part, this fractional part of, say, 200. Of means multiply. That is, this is just asking you to find 3/4 of 200. Of means multiply. 4 goes into 200 50 times, and 4 goes into 4 one time. 3 times 50 is 150 over 1, which we don't do. That is, you now know the answer. 3/4 of 200 is 150. If you're asked to find, say, 2/5 of 80, well, 2/5 is 2/5 of is multiply, and 80 is 80. And 5 goes into every number that ends in 5 and is 0. Goes into 5 one time. For example, 10, to find out how many times 5 goes into 80, that might be a little bit hard. But 10 goes into 80 8 times. 5 goes in twice as many times. If I want to know how many times 5 goes into 120, I know 10 goes into 120 12 times. I double my answer. And now we're left with 2 times 16, which is 32, divided by 1. Don't bother dividing by 1. 2/5 of 80 is 32. We just found 2/5 of 80. It's 32. If you owe somebody $80 and they say, you know what, just give me 2/5 of it. Well, now you know how to figure out what you owe them. You owe them $32. If you're asked to find 1/3% of $300. Well, 1/3 means 1/3. Percent, we talked about that next section, means divide by 100. That's what percent means. Of means multiply, and 300 means 300. This is the main division line. Here's the main division line. You want to think of a 1 in the bottom? Fine. 100 goes into both of these numbers. 1 time, 3 times. 1/3 times 3. 1/3 times 3. You can probably just do it rather than canceling. 1 times 3 is 3 over 3 is 1. Or you can say 1 goes into this bottom number 1 time, and this top number 1 time. 1 times 1 is 1, over 1 is 1. Okay, so the top is 1, and 1 times 1 is 1, so it's 1. 1/3%. The third of a percent of 300 is 1. If you borrow $300 from somebody, go back. If you borrow $300 from somebody, and amazingly they just said, give me 1/3% every week. Well, every week you owe them $1. You owe them $1. Every week you owe them $1 in interest. You still owe them the $300, unfortunately. Of course, we're assuming that you only give them $1 at the end of the week. Or at the end of the week, you owe them an extra $1. Now, how about we're asking you to find 1/4%. Since 1/4 is less than 1, this is less than 1%. This is not 25%. 1/4 does not equal 25. I know it does. Excuse me, 25. I know it doesn't. It's very obvious to me. It needs to start to be obvious. obvious to you. This number is less than 1. This number is more than 1. This is a whole number. This is not. It's not a whole number. They're not equal. And you don't have 0, 1, 2, eventually 23, 24, and then 1/4. No, no, no. You don't expect to see 1/4. Expect to see 25. Why don't you expect to see 1/4 right there? Because 1/4 is not the same as 25. 1/4 is right there. That's a quarter. It's not 25. What is it? It's 0.25. It's not 25. It's not 25. And you have to understand that. I see students all the time, they write 3 equals 7, 9 equals 12. You know 3 doesn't equal 7. You know 9 doesn't equal 12. Don't write it. Find 1/4% of 500. Well, a quarter means a quarter. Percent means divide by 100. Of means multiply. 500 is 500. This is the bottom number. This is the top number. This is the top number. 100 goes into this bottom number 1 time, and coincidentally that top number 5 times. So we're left with 1/4 times 5 over 1. Don't worry about the over 1. Just 5/4. 1 times 5 is 5. You like the 1 on the bottom. 4 times 1 is 4, or 4 is 4. 5 over 4. 1 1/4. Again, if you borrow, or if you borrow $500 from somebody, and now the units are dollars, you borrow $500, and they say, give me 1/4%. Well, at the end of the week, you owe them $1.25. Well, excuse me. They say, give me 1/4% per week. Then if you didn't make any payments, you didn't give them any money until then at the end of the week, you owe them $1.25. If somewhere during the week you give them $50, well, you don't owe them 1/4% of $500 anymore, because you paid them some money. Now, let's do a word column. Suppose you earn $500 per week. This is how much you earn per week. So they tell you, because 25% of your salary you never get to see make-believe. 25% of your salary goes to taxes. That is, when you get your paycheck, it doesn't have 25%. So the question is, how much remains? How much money remains? That is, how much money do you get in your hands to spend? I don't care that my boss tells me I make this amount. I care how much I come home with. You can tell me I make $500 a week, and if I come home with $1,200, I'll be a lot happier than if you tell me I make $700 a week. I make more money per week, but I only come home with $600. Okay. Well, if they take out 75% of your salary, that is this amount, if they take away 25%, you must get 75% of 500. I mean, there is $500 that's being split up. Somebody gets 25% of your money, of the $500. The government. You get the remaining 75% of the 500. 75%, I'm just reading this left to right. 75 is 75. Percent means divide by 100. Of means multiply. You must know your vocabulary. $500? $500. 100 goes in here once. 100 does not go into that 5 times. It goes into it $5 times. 75 times 5 is $375 times dollars. $375 is how much you get. You get to keep 75% of the $500. Break up 75% is 3/4. Break up the $500 into 4 equal piles, and you get to keep 3 of them. The government takes the other one. The other pile. Suppose you go shopping and you come to know that there's a sale, and the original price of an item that you would so much like to buy is $325. $325. But like I said, it's on sale. It is on sale for 15% off. 15% off. Not including taxes of course, sales tax. How much is the item now? And don't include the sales tax yet. Well, if normally you pay 100% of that number. Normally you pay 100% of 325. Sorry, 325. Now just for the record, 100% is 1. To convince you of that, 100 is 100. Percent means divide by 100. This number is just 1. Of is times, and $325. Well, 1 times anything is anything. So before there's a sale, you really do pay 100%. Alright. But they're telling you, hey, we're in a good mood. You don't have to give us 15%. Now I hate personally when I go into a store and I see a sign that says 15% off. I don't want to know what I'm getting off. I want to know, I don't want to know what part I'm getting off or what percentage I'm getting off. I want to know what percentage I'm paying. Let's get right down to it. What percent do I pay? Well, normally pay 100%, and they're telling you you don't have to pay 15%. We'll give you 15% off. You subtract, you get 85%. If you are paying, the cost of the item is now going to be 85% of the selling price, the original price. So here it is. It's 85 over 100 times 85 divided by 100 times $325. $325. Now, I would just multiply on the side the 325 by the 85. You get 25, 12, 16, 16.25. And 8 times that will be 2,400, 2,600. 2,600. 8 times 325 is clearly 2,600. So you get 27625. So the top, when you multiply it, you get this. And then you divide by 100. The reason I didn't reduce the 100 and the 325 or the 185, or possibly both, is because I wanted to divide by 100. Because I'm not real good with dividing. Dividing by 100 is almost like dividing by 1. Just move the decimal in 2 places. So the top will be 276 $0.25, and the bottom will be dividing by the bottom, which is 1. The rule for dividing by 1 is don't do it. Well, there's the answer then. You are going to spend or pay $276.25. You might want to know how much you're saving. Well, there are two ways of doing it. You can find 15% of $325. Or you can say, well, I know what it used to cost, and now I know what it's costing today. Let me do some elementary subtraction. Well, you should know $1 minus 25 cents is 75 cents. Make this a 1 and a 14. 14 minus 8 is 6. 1 take away 7 you can't do, so you borrow. 11 take away 7 is 4. And 2 take away 2 is 0. So you are going to save, for today only, $48.75 if you purchase this item. Okay, that finishes that problem. Let's do one more word problem. Word problems are simple if you know the translation. Means multiply, is means equal, percent means divide by 100, sum means to add. Okay, suppose you take an exam. You take an exam which has 40 questions. Which has 40 questions. So multiple choice. Either you're right or you're wrong. Take an exam, say it has 40 questions, and you receive a grade of, say, 75%. Again, it's a true-false exam or a multiple choice. That is, either you're all right or you're all wrong. The question is how many questions did you get right? How many questions did you answer correctly? So no partial credit. It's true, false, or multiple choice. And actually, a true-false exam is multiple choice. Choice A is true, choice B is false. Okay, so there's no part credit. So now, what you want to know is, what is 75% of 40? What is 75% of 40? So it's 75, that's 75. Percent means divide by 100. Means multiply. 40 means 40. And 25 goes into both of these numbers 3 times and 4 times. And what do you know? 4 goes into both of these numbers. Always one from the bottom and one from the top. 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 goes into 4 goes into 40 10 times. 3 times 10 is 40. Divided by 1. The rule for dividing by 1 is don't do it. That is, the answer is 40. But of course that couldn't be right, because that meant you would get 40 out of 40 right, and you would have 100%. So let's do the math correctly. 3 times 10 is 30. And 30 divided by 1 is still 30. So you got 30 questions right. You got 75% of the questions right. Why do you think you got a 75? If you got 93% of the questions right, you wouldn't get a 75. You would get a 93, I think I said. If you got 18% of the questions right, you'll get an 18%. Of course, we're not talking about exams being curved, because then you can never do these problems. You can say, oh, can't be done because I don't know what the curve is. Is it a big curve, a little curve? What's the rule for the curve? Yes, if you were given the rule for the curve, like you're going to get 10% more. Whatever grade you get, I'm going to give you 7 more points. Everyone in the class gets 7 more points. Everyone in the class gets 10% more. But if you're not told what the curve is, you can't figure out how many questions you got right. If I tell you you have a 40-question exam, and after the curve, you got 75%. Well, how many questions did you get right? I don't know. You don't know what the curve was. On that note, that finishes up the section on finding the fractional part of a number. Good luck with it.